Hi guys, it's me, Bev Allen, world famous life coach. Have you ever wondered how you can change your life? Well, wonder no more. Each week, I'm going to have real life problems from real life losers, and I'm going to help them. Welcome to my podcast. Well, guys, welcome. And welcome, yes, to another episode of the podcast. Now, wow, what a gorgeous day it is out there today, isn't it? It's all lovely and sunny. The last few sunshine hurrahs of our summer before it turns miserable. Anyway, so let's get a little bit more perky because we don't want to be thinking about miserable weather now, do we? So without further ado, I'm just going to go straight into it. So I will tell you that the first person I'm going to talk about this week, well, I'm not going to mention any names because, well, I don't think that's appropriate, really. But our first person who has actually written, he's written into me, which I find just magical, because who puts pen to paper these days? It's mostly email, and there's nothing wrong with that. So do keep emailing me in with your problems. But he's written to me, and sorry, Greg, what? No, is the kettle on? Yeah. It's brewing. Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Don't interrupt again. All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. So it's so his name is David Maltby, and he's from Stoke-on-Trent. But yes, not going to mention any names because, as I said, it's, GD, RP and, stuff like that. So, anyway, Mr. Maltby, well, what does that remind me of? That reminds me of something what is it, Greg? Is it a malt? Oh, I know what it is. It's a malted milk biscuit. That's what that reminds me of. And, I wonder if Mr. Maltby smells like biscuits. Who knows? So anyway, Mr. Maltby writes to me and he says, "Dear Bev, during lockdown, I have found it very difficult to get my supermarket shopping from any other source other than online. And now that we've come out of lockdown, I feel like I should be going back to the supermarket in person. But actually, Bev, I've been finding it a real struggle. Mentally, it's a challenge trying to get myself into that headspace. And basically, David really wants my help in trying to sort of get him back into that supermarket rather than just hiding behind his computer doing it all the time. And David, my darling, what I will say to you is, yes, it is very important that you get back into that supermarket if that's your social life, and for many of us it is, isn't it? Let's face it. We enjoy the hustle and the bustle of going down to your local shop. Doing it online, it's not the same, is it, my darling? Because quite often you get a very grouchy driver who, quite frankly, can't be arsed doing the job that he's doing. And, it's usually a man, isn't it? I've not really seen any ladies delivering my supermarket shopping, if I've ever used it, and I don't really use it that often. I quite like going in on my own in person. I like to greet people, and quite often people recognise me, and that's fine. I like to sign autographs in the veg aisle and places like that. So, they don't often bring you all the things that you've ordered, do they, my darling? So quite often that's been a bit of a pain. But, fair play to them. They have been a bit of a... they've been a lifeline for some people, haven't they, who've not wanted to go out. But anyway, let's reimagine. Let's go back in time, David. I think that's the best thing we can do here. So take a deep breath, David. And for anybody else who's been struggling with the same issue, let's take a deep breath in, shall we? And then blow it all out. And now we're going to think about what it's like to go into those supermarkets, shall we? So you arrive at the doors and they slide open. And you get a welcoming waft, don't you, of whatever it may be at the front of that store. Whether it's, well, it could be anything from baked bread, depending on where they have that section, if they indeed bake their bread fresh every day, and not all of them do, of course. Or it could be a nice smell of, the security guard. Quite often there's a security guard there on the doors, and, you know, they don't all smell bad. Some of them actually put some aftershave on, and that's quite a nice smell, isn't it? So just imagine that, David. Just imagine that lovely smell hitting you in the nostrils as you're wandering. And everything's pre-COVID time, so just imagine it's beautiful. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to sanitize your hands. It's a wonderful place to be. Now, you either pick up one of those little bleepy machines that scans everything. I know I like doing those, but you might not, David. You might not like doing that. But if you do, pick it up. Just imagine picking that lovely machine up. And if you've got a trolley, put it in the handy holder that they now provide for you on those shopping trolleys. So you're off. First stop, usually I'd say, is the veg aisle, because that's where it is in my local supermarket anyway. So go and find your veg. Just imagine what it feels like, David, to actually firmly hold those tangerines in your hand, or artichoke, courgettes, whatever it is that you like to get your hands around. Just imagine feeling those, because quite frankly, you can't get the same effect when you're shopping online. And sometimes, you order some potatoes or whatever it is you might be ordering, tomatoes, carrots. They're not up to scratch when they get delivered, are they? Because it's usually some student who has not taken any care over your shopping. I mean, David, I imagine you're the kind of fella that goes in there, picks the ripest, picks the best, and checks for little marks and, imperfections. So you're not going to get that, are you, really, if you get it delivered? Because it's picked by somebody else, of course. So that's your first thing. You need to put that into your mind. You're going to get that experience, aren't you? So then you'd move on to your next aisle. Now, you might be getting some bread. You might be getting some laundry, some laundry detergent. I don't know, David, what your shopping list usually looks like. But like I said, take your time. Go with me on this journey. Just imagine walking around. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get sticky floors, don't you, in some of the aisles? And sometimes they put out that helpful yellow sign that just says wet floor. Sometimes there's been a child that might have dropped something, or I don't know, had an accidental wee. These things happen, don't they? I can remember once being in a cafe within a supermarket, and a little baby was there, lovely little baby, but was sick everywhere. Had a bottle of milk and threw it up everywhere, so that wasn't very pleasant. Anyway, so let's go back to where we are. We're not in the cafe at the moment, and your supermarket might not have a cafe, but that's fine. So you're picking up all your goods. You can see them. You can see those lovely labels. The brightness just fills your mind with imagination, and they're inspirational and aspirational, some of these products, aren't they? And it's just not the same if you're looking at them in 2D on a screen while you're picking your groceries online. Better to go into the shop, David. So let's move on. And you know what else they have in supermarkets, David? They sometimes have electrical departments, don't they? So you can buy yourself a new television, or you could get yourself a little radio, maybe a transistor radio for your potting shed if you've got one. I'm not sure if you do, but all of these items, you just can't feel that, can you, when it's online? So you've got your shopping. You can imagine what it's like. You can push past people. You can get up close and personal with human beings. And we don't always want to do that, do we? Because I don't know about you, but in my local supermarket, I don't really like the people that frequent it. They're not very friendly. And quite frankly, my goodness me, the way some people dress. Have you seen them, David, my darling? They wear curlers in the hair for a night out. They wear fluffy slippers. Some people, my God, the other day I saw a lady, she was wearing full pyjamas, fluffy slippers, and I can't say that she'd put a brush through her hair. It was fairly disgusting, really. And I was quite disgusted with her. And I gave her a look. A filthy look, I did, because I don't care. I'm bold. I really don't care anymore. So, there are some people, I like to think of them as hurdles that you have to get over. But that's supermarket shopping for you, isn't it, really? And anyway, so you've gone through those aisles, you've pushed past those people, you've picked out the best produce that you can possibly get. And then it's time to go and really have a lovely chat with the person who's on the till. Now, if you've self-scanned, then you can bypass that. And sometimes that's a bonus. Sometimes it's not, because quite frankly, it's nice to chat to the people, isn't it, sometimes on the till. But if you've self-scanned, you can't do that, can you? So it's a quick beep. And I don't know about you, but I find it really frustrating sometimes, because I try to you have to hold your little scanning thing and scan the machine that's right next to where your bags are. And well, it just doesn't work for me. And quite often I have to call the lady over, and my light above my station is flashing red. Now, you would think that the person who's manning that particular station would see that, but quite often they don't. And it's a source of frustration for me and for many others of you. I am aware of that. So quite often I'll put my hand up and, politely try and get the attention of the lady or the gentleman. And more often than not, they don't see me. So I have to resort to shouting at them. And even then, sometimes they don't come. And I'm trying to stay calm, but I just can't all the time. But anyway, eventually they come and they sort me out, and then I'll have to do something else, and then that will probably go wrong as well. So yes, it's not always easy, is it, at the self-scanning? So let's imagine, David, that you've gone to the actual checkout part with a human being at a till, and she's gonna, or he, don't be sexist now, Bev, they are going to scan your goods for you. Now, I don't know about you, but if you ever visit those, I'm not going to name them, but those supermarkets that are quite trendy amongst very rich people, probably because it's more of a novelty than anything else, but they're considered to be the cheaper supermarkets. There's two of them, I'd say rivals, quite cheap. And I mean, you can get a lot of stuff, can't you, quite cheaply. It's not necessarily the stuff that I choose to buy, but it's cheap, so why not give it a whirl, is what I would say. And, I don't know about you, but my God, they throw it down the bloody conveyor belt, don't they? It's like they're being paid per second and how many they can get down that conveyor belt. And, it's just not for me, really. I purposely take my time putting everything into the trolley really slowly. But that doesn't always work. It's kind of a protest on my part, but it doesn't always work because they do tend to just keep going and not look what they're doing. And then I end up with about 10 cans of baked beans, some cheap laundry powder, and some exotic veg all on the floor. So it doesn't always work. And that sort of frustrates me as well. But if you're lucky and you're in one of the upmarket supermarkets, then you might get a chat with somebody. But again, potluck, you might not. Some of them are quite grumpy, aren't they? And I don't really like those people either. So maybe just stick to self-scanning. And then when all is done, you're done, David, my darling. You can push your trolley out with your bags of shopping and just take a deep breath and think, I did it. I got through the supermarket shop. So, David, I'm hoping that that's helped you make your decision to swap from online shopping to actually going back to the supermarket in person. And I hope that helps, my darling. Give my love to Stoke-on-Trent. All right, darling. Lots of love. Bev. Right. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I've got somebody in the studio with me. Now, I've invited this person on because, well, he doesn't live far from the studio. And, I just thought it was quite an interesting one. And he doesn't mind sharing his problems with you guys. He's waived his anonymity. So without further ado, please welcome, it's Gary from Broadstairs. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Bev. How's it going?
Very well, thank you, my darling. How are you today?
Yeah, good. I've been nervous. Never been on television before.
Yeah, it's a podcast, my darling, yeah. So don't worry, Gary. You're in safe hands with me and my able assistant, Greg. So just relax. Everything's fine, darling. Now, you tell Bev and our lovely listeners, what seems to be the problem? What do you need my help for, darling?
I was
thought you were having a stretch and a sleep then, Gary?
No. Was working down in Broadstairs High Street in the bookies for about 5 years. Loved my job, and lost my job about 3 or 4 months ago. Been looking for a job ever since.
Yeah.
I go down Dole Centre once a week.
Where'd you go?
Go down Dole Centre. Down Dole Centre.
Greg, did you hear that? Do you know what that is?
Dole Centre.
The Dole Centre. Oh, I'm so sorry. Could not understand a word you were saying then, Gary. Yeah. Just for the benefit of our listeners. So the Dole Centre is a place you go if you've lost your job and, they give you money. So it's not all bad, is it? Yeah, not bad for some, Gary?
Yeah, no, it's all right. Doesn't quite cover my 20 silk cut purple.
Your what?
My 20 silk cut purple, my cigarettes, what? Bev.
You smoke, do you, Gary? Yeah. How much are they these days, darling?
20 quid.
£20?
20 quid. 20
For how much?
For
how many?
For 20 cigarettes.
They're not that expensive, are they?
It's expensive.
£20? No, it's not a pound a fag, surely.
My dole money doesn't cover it.
I tell you what, Gary, I can remember when I was younger, I used to smoke. I shouldn't admit that, should I, listeners? But I used to smoke. And I can remember when it was about £1 for 10 cigarettes. Or maybe I've imagined that, I don't know. Greg, was that right? Greg's going to do some research on that for us. Anyway, sorry, Gary. Sorry, I rudely interrupted you there. So is the problem that you just can't afford your cigarettes?
Oh,
what's the problem? Are you all right, Gary?
Can't afford my cigarettes, can't afford my booze. I'm back in the bookies, but this time I'm gambling. I'm in there and I'm spending money I've not got.
Greg.
And,
you're Gary. Oh.
What I really need is your help. Is your help to get myself back on track, Bev.
Right. All right. Well, let's get back to basics, should we, Gary? We're going to go through this the same that I would do if I was with a client, just doing my life coaching. And as you're all aware, I've had many clients and I've helped them enormously. So you're in the right hands. You're in safe hands here, Gary. So let's go back to some basics. Now, Gary, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, not middle-aged. I'm,
Are you all right, 38? Gary?
38.
38. Can we get him a glass of water? Yeah. All right. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Right, so 38. Yes, not old, is it, my darling? That's you're a spring chicken still. Now, so you worked in a bookies, did you, for 5 years? And you loved your job.
I love my job.
Surprised to hear that. You loved it, did you? Yeah. What was it you loved about it, Gary?
Oh, customers.
The customers, right.
Just being around that environment, the football, the sports, the
right.
The
yeah,
money.
You like all that, do you?
Yeah. I like.
Yeah. All right, Gary. Yeah, hear you. Right. So, but you're a smoker and a drinker. Now, were you a smoker and a drinker while you were working in the bookies?
I could afford it then.
So you did?
Yeah.
Right. So now, first of all, I think what I'm hearing is that you either need more dole money or you just need a job, don't you, to pay for those pleasures in life. Let's face it, they're pleasures, aren't they, to some people?
I can't see myself ever getting a job.
Oh, don't think like that, Gary. You can do anything with Bev's help. I can tell you that much. So you like sports, yeah. Now, have you thought about going to your local leisure centre and seeing if there's anything there? Maybe you could be the local lifeguard, look after the kiddies in the pool. I don't know, something like that.
I've always fancied myself as a professional badminton player.
Oh, sorry?
A professional badminton player.
What's that, Greg? A batter? A cricket batter?
Badminton player.
What?
Badminton player.
Badminton.
Badminton player.
Is that right? Okay. And sorry, that's just hitting things with a stick, is it?
The only thing is I've never played.
You've never played, right? Well, I mean, as far as I can tell, Gary, I have to be firm with you here. I think you'll find that when you want to be a professional at something, you really have to start quite early on. Oh, Gary, get that water, Greg. Yeah, you really have to start early. I mean, I started, I didn't start life coaching, but similar sort of things I started to do when I was about 6. I used to tell my mother what to do. And I think you should have started a bit sooner. So I'm not sure that's going to be for you, my darling. So best thing to do is take a deep breath in, Gary. Right, just have a glass of water. Come on, it's all right. Gary! It's all right, my darling. Now blow it out. Blow it all out, my darling. Blow it all out. Bloody hell. Is this... Gary, are you all right?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm just worried. The sound... No, I hadn't finished. Sorry, Gary. Gary... I don't think that's going to happen for you somehow. Now, I'm here to be your friend, but I have to be firm sometimes. So... from this day forward, put that dream out of your mind. All right, you're not going to be a badminton player. What we do need to focus on is how are you going to be able to afford those cigarettes and those bottles or cans of booze. Now, as I understand it, I don't think you get much money on the old rock and roll, as they call it, don't they? That's rhyming slang for dole, everybody, rock and roll. So what do you get paid? What does our lovely government pay you? What do you get?
160 every couple of weeks.
£160?
Yeah.
For doing nothing?
Yeah.
My goodness me. Right, and you need more than that. Well, look, you need more for your soul, Gary. You need more. You need richness in your life, my darling. So I'm going to prescribe to you, and it's not really a prescription. You've just got to imagine it in your mind, Gary. I'm going to give you Bev's prescription of meditation every day. You're not going to get what you want, Gary. You're not going to get what you don't want if you don't visualise it, my darling.
I've got loads of
no, we don't need to know. No, Gary. No, we don't want to know about that medication, Gary, if that's all right. We don't need to discuss that. We're just talking about imaginary medication, which is what Bev is prescribing for you. So every morning, I want you to open up your eyes, take a deep breath in. Don't think about your problems. Just think about the sun in the sky. Even if it's raining, just imagine it's sunny, all right? That will fill your soul with happiness and it will start you on the right track. You need to set your vibrational tone as soon as you wake up, my darling. You don't want to look around and think, well, what a tip my bedroom's in. What a skanky old duvet I'm lying in and I haven't washed in 3 weeks, or whatever it is you may or may not be doing, Gary, okay? You need to motivate yourself now, and that's what Bev's prescribing. You need to meditate, all right? The problem
is, Bev, is that I'm back at my mum and dad's house and I sleep in their bed with them.
You're in your mum and dad's house,
I'm back
right?
at my mum and dad's house, and
I'm sorry to ask. I know it's personal, but why is it you're actually in their bed?
They've got no other beds in any other rooms.
They've no other beds.
No.
Right.
No.
Well, even more motivation to get yourself a new job, because then you can afford to buy them a second bed, can't you?
How do I meditate with them in the same bed?
Well, do it silently, my darling. You don't need to meditate out loud. You just I mean, it depends. Do you get up before them, or are they? I suspect they get up before you. Are you all right, Gary? You all right, my darling?
I get up before them.
Right. Is there anywhere you can go to for some peace and quiet, Gary? Just to have a bit of meditation time. Anywhere. Is there a garden shed?
We got
a downstairs loo.
We got a communal space.
Right, communal.
Some of the kids play there sometimes.
No, that's not going to work, Gary. I'm sorry. You need to have somewhere that's going to be peaceful and quiet for you, my darling. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to visualise that new job.
Sometimes I go for a nap in the Asda toilet.
Right, and is that quiet?
Oh yeah, sometimes yeah.
Right.
Someone's always in the cubicle on the left of me. I don't know. I don't think so.
Right. Okay. No, that's not going to work, is it, my darling? Is there a local library you can go to?
Yeah.
Right. Go to the library. Are you a member? Do you have a library card?
No.
Could you get a library card?
Oh, I don't know, Bev. But I don't know if they'll let me in.
Oh, they will, my darling,
Bev,
Gary.
I don't know if I can say this on TV. But
we're not on television, and I just no, Gary. Just whisper it first.
I've done time.
Oh. Yeah, no. Should we edit that out? So, Gary, yeah, we won't talk about that. So, go to your library. That's what I'm suggesting, my darling. They've got loads of books on meditation and how to visualise what you want. And I'm going to let you into a secret. Well, I say it's a secret. Only a select few know about this, but there's something called the law of attraction. And I need to say to you, Gary, that everything that you've attracted in your life so far has been down to you. Good or bad, I'm afraid to say. So I'm afraid you actually visualised losing your job. And the good news is, my darling, is that you can visualise a new job, but not a badminton player, because I don't think that's going to happen for you. Are you all right, Gary?
Yeah.
Right. So, law of attraction, my darling, there's loads of information on my website. You just need to click on that. Do you have access to a computer, Gary?
Oh,
God, you sound like Captain Birdseye suddenly, Gary.
Oh,
No. Right. Well, maybe we can... Greg, can you print some stuff off for Gary? Yeah. We're going to print off some help sheets for you because I really want to help you, Gary. You're so welcome.
Thanks, Bev.
Oh, Gary, my pleasure. I hope I've helped you today. It's been a real treat having you on the show.
I just want my life back.
Yeah, listen. If you want your life back, you just need to... Well, you don't really want your life back, do you? You don't want that life back, do you? I mean, you don't want to work in a bookies, do you? Really, Gary?
Oh.
You don't. I can tell you don't. I can tell you're far better not being in that bookies. I can just tell. So you want to find yourself a new job. You want to visualise that job. You want to think about it. But you need to be happy inside because you need to have happy vibrations going out into the universe. And then happy stuff will come back to you, my darling. Do you understand?
Runner.
Sorry?
Can I be a runner?
As in a television runner or an athlete?
Running track.
Well, you'd have to start. You could do it for a hobby, I suppose, but you'd have to stick to the park, I imagine. Have you got a local park, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
You have? Yeah. All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not live, but I'm sure you're all applauding right now. Gary is one courageous man, and I'm just in awe of you, Gary, that you felt able to come on and talk about your problems so eloquently. And I do hope you've found it useful and that I've helped you, my darling. You're so welcome. Thanks.